part 2 of my guitar tutorial of Elliott Smith's Happiness, and it goes like this. So essentially what it is just it's still the intro, and it's the second part of the intro, at least what I think what it was. So if you watch the first part, you should know where I am. So anyways, at the end of the first part, you get to this part, if you remember, where you're on the first fret, and then your ring and your pinky are on the 3rd fret, low E, and 3rd fret of the high E. So you're making this sound. And remember the strumming pattern? B, you pluck the B, and then you pluck the low and high E, and then you pluck the E after that to maintain the bass. So remember that. So where we're starting off is after this chord, which is the very last chord in part 1. You'll make this noise, I guess, and then you'll slide to 2, 3. And that's where we're starting. So after you do that, you're gonna be plucking the 3rd fret. So the chord that you're playing, that you're plucking along to, is gonna be a G, and it's just a standard G. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as your like 2 of your fingers are on the 3rd fret of the low and high E. So it's a G chord essentially, but you don't necessarily need to have your index finger there because you're not going to be playing it. So it'll be alright. After that, something a little different happens. Earlier I said that for the you're going to be mainly plucking the B and the E strings, but occasionally you'll be changing with the bass note, with the E and then the A string. So for this instance, after the G chord, you're going to actually change into a B minor, which is the second fret A minor bar. So you're going to go from a G to a B minor. And how you do this to transition from that is after you pluck a couple times, after you pluck the bass note a couple times, you're gonna pluck actually the open A string. So open A string, and when you pluck that, you should have enough time, or at least you should be fast enough to get to change into the B minor from the G. So it'll be. And when you're plucking the B minor, you're not plucking the bass note isn't the low E anymore. It's now the A, because B minor starts from the A string. So it'll go from G, open A, and then you just chug on, just keep on doing what you're doing before. Just be mindful of the bass note change. So. Alright, so now the second chord, or the chord after that, is actually pretty damn tough. Like, yeah, I'd say it's one of the toughest ones there for this song specifically. But anyways, so after the B minor, what you want to do to transition to the next one, the next chord is this. It's pretty much an F with your pinky on the 5th fret of the high E. So if you can try and reach that far, but it's ridiculous. But what you do is B minor, play the 3rd fret of the A, 3rd fret of the A string. So duh, and then that transitions into the next chord, kind of like what you were doing earlier with the G to the B minor. So 3rd fret of the A, and then change into the F. So so pretty much what you're trying to do is bar the first fret as best as you can, because you mainly want is for your the first fret of the B string and the low E first fret. You want those notes. You want those notes, but you also want the fifth fret of the high E, which can be kind of tricky. So you have to bar the whole first fret as best as you can, so that you can make those. So you can make a B and so you can successfully make the sound or the note for the B string and the low E string, and then have that there somehow if you can reach there. It takes a lot of practice, but anyways, it's. I mean, it's not, the barring isn't perfect as long as you're able to make the notes. That's all that matters. I mean, it's whatever. So once you get past that, eventually, so it goes from G, B minor, F. Now the next chord is just a C. But your pinky is going to be on the third fret of the high E, so we'll make a so just make a regular C chord and put your pinky on the third fret of the high E, and you're going to be plucking the for the bass note. You're going to be plucking the A string, because you know C chord starts from the A string. So start that over again. G, B minor, F, C. Got that? After the C chord, it's turns a little obscure, but whatever. What you do is after the C, when you're plucking the bass note, what you want to do is slide the bass note, which is on the third fret of the A string, all the way to the sixth fret of the A string. So like this, like so, because that's how it is in the song. So, and you want to make these two notes, which is fourth fret on the B string and fifth fret on the high E. So slide to the sixth fret. Oops. Got that? After this chord, it's just your regular G again. So start over. Regular G, B minor, F, C, obscure chord, G, then the chord after that is it's on the link that I'll put up in the description below. It calls it an A, but yeah, I guess it's an A. But what you're doing is what you want to do is you want to bar at least all the way up to the D string with one of your fingers or your index finger. You want to bar at the second fret. So technically, it's making a chord. So like this. So you want to bar partially the whole second fret with your index finger, and you want to stretch out to the fifth fret of the high E string with the pinky. So like this. Because you want the A, and then you want the open A string, and then you want the high E. So after that chord, it's just the C that that I told you about earlier. It's a regular C with their pinky on the third fret of the high E string. and then that's it. Then you strum that a little bit and start into the chord or verse, which I'll teach you in the next part. But that's pretty much it to this song, or at least the intro. So let me play it again, all the way from the beginning. So. One thing to note is that you may be wondering why you actually have to make the chords itself. It might be a little bit overkill when you can just, all you want really is the B. All you're playing is the B, the high E, and sometimes the low E and the A string. But sometimes in the live versions, he plucks it, and then he plucks it, and then he strums. So if you want to do that, that's up to you. So. That didn't work. And then you go into the verse. So I hope you learned something, and I'll try and do part 3 sometime soon, which will cover the verses. So any suggestions? Yeah. Corrections? Go for it. Bye.